My dear British native friends, your government all-out immigration policy has led your country into chaos, turmoil, and inextricable disorder. The damage is done. Deportation becomes a key word for the British natives. Could you believe that Japan intends to import 500,000 immigrants? This is not less than putting the gun to its head. Your country is experiencing the same lack of manpower as dozens of Western civilizations. The precipitated and drastic solution your government applied was surely not good advice. Now Great Britain must lead the way in establishing very demanding and readapted rules of immigration. First rule must be to never accept Muslims as new immigrants. Those people don't come from the same mold as the British inhabitants. Their ability to adapt is even tougher than those Arabs who cannot adapt anywhere else on the planet. Take a look at the borders of Pakistan and India, in Europe, in Australia, and in most of the countries where they set foot. They cannot adapt to Western civilization because their personal beliefs push them to force Christian countries to adapt to their satanic laws and behaviors. Those extremists will do everything possible in order to convert each and every British citizen to the Quran or their infamous Sharia law. The Arab countries don't want them in their surroundings, as Saudi Arabia, clearly rejecting Palestinians, are now promoting a moderate Islam, much closer to the way of thinking of the Westerners. Second rule concerns the official religion of the candidate. If the candidate practices Islam, your answer must be no. The question asked to the potential candidate could be the following: do you believe and do you intend to put into effect in your country of adoption the philosophy of the Quran and the Sharia law? The interview should be recorded for further proof and personal engagement. If the answer is clearly yes, or even doubtful, this guy should be refused right away, as Quran promotes violence against the infidels and a profound lack of respect for all women. Third rule, never accept people arriving from Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, and all those Arab countries which have the reputation to behave in strict opposition with the Western values. Look at those hundreds of individuals who, year in, year out, are arrested in Europe for indecent assault on minors. England doesn't have to cohabit with those pedophiles. Whether those guys show a lack of respect and education is not Britain's problem. Fourth rule, every candidate must prove that he has the capacity to assume entirely all his personal and family expenses in Great Britain for the next 10 years. He must know that it will be impossible for him or his family to ask for any benefits if he is accepted. Furthermore, if for any reason he fails to meet this requirement, he will be deported at once on an interim basis and won't be able to come back to Britain unless he demonstrates that he is in a position to continue to fully assume the payment of his own expenses. Fifth rule, the candidate must be submitted to a long written and oral questionnaire prepared by the British authorities on the following subjects. First one, criminal record and previous detentions and or arrests in his country of origin and even abroad. 2. Names and places of former schools and mosques attended and the quality and content of education provided, names of the imams and professors, books read, and any pamphlets related to those teachings. 3. Level of adaptability to Great Britain. 4. Consideration of women and express recognition of equal rights for the woman. 5. Financial situation, including the capacity to assume his own subsistence and his family's needs for at least 10 years. 6. Religious beliefs. 7. Reference letters from countries of origins authority. 8. Former education. 9. Rigorous health check at his own cost. 10. A contract with designated British Insurance Corporation covering all financial components of his stay duration on the island. 11. Signature of an irrevocable document in which he fully recognizes that he benefits from the day of his admission of a different status than the one which enjoyed the natives. Consequently, he is not and he will never be entitled to strictly identical privileges. 12. A pre-given consent, giving the British authorities the power to expulse him on an interim basis if he doesn't respect prima facie all required engagement related to his new status. 13. A strict written engagement not to protest in England's streets unless expressly authorized by the British authorities, and that such behavior could represent a motive for his immediate expulsion. 14. A strict written engagement not to burn the British flag, and that such behavior could represent a motive for his immediate expulsion. 15. An express recognition and consent to be deported if he commits any felony offense, and that deportation could be enforced first on an interim basis and ultimately on a permanent basis. 16. Sponsoring by a credit-worthy relative who will undoubtedly be in a position to act as a guarantor in order to reimburse to the British government all expenses billed to the candidate and remaining unpaid by the latter. If the guarantor fails to fulfill his commitments, the candidate will be expelled without further delay until full amounts are duly paid. 17. High knowledge of the English language. 18. Any other conditions required by any ministry of the British government. 19. A substantial amount must be billed and paid without any delay by the applicant for his application. This means that the interview cannot take place as long as the complete amount is not fully paid. 20. All members of an immigration committee composed of 5 members must render at the first administrative level a unanimous decision in every case. 21. A special committee composed of 3 judges specialized in immigration law can hear the appeal and reverse the decision of the aforementioned committee. The procedure must be swift, fair, and expeditive. Those 3 judges must be unanimous. 22. The security, safety, and fundamental interests of the British native population and its ancestral values must represent a key element in the final appreciation of the candidate's application by the members of the aforementioned committees. And last, finally, the express engagement not to engage into any crusade of conversion of the British natives at any time, any place, and in any way. Such obligation exists against Christians in many other countries, mostly Muslim countries. Have a good day.